Hey Seth,
Hi, how are you doing?
I am good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Need to sync up. I'm trying to figure out how to start the webinar. I don't know if you guys know,
Hi,
but
Seth. Nice to meet you.
hey Ernesto, how you doing?
Good, good. So I assume
So,
we're in the practice session right now, practice
I
room.
I assume so, but it says recording, so I don't know.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it automatically records a practice session.
Ah,
There should be a button if you're the host. It should be a button that says start the webinar.
okay. I don't see it.
You don't see a button. Let me see in participants. Yeah, you're the host.
Yeah,
Hmm.
usually like it's
Yeah, I don't, did you set this up or did,
no, Pavel set it up.
usually he joins though, doesn't he? And
I did,
help with.
I did one yesterday actually. He didn't join, but when he set it up, it was all kind of seemed to be working okay. So, but he didn't join, so I did one with him yesterday. So,
Oh,
or the day
okay.
before yesterday, the day before yesterday. So I forget. So,
Okay.
That is very strange. Yeah.
Maybe it'll show like after.
If you want, Seth, you can make me co-host and I can
Yeah.
at least then help you look. I can see the same
Yeah.
because I use Zoom for everything, like all my client calls, everything, and I should be able to help and find it.
Yeah, let me see if I can do that.
You just go to the participants panel and click the little three dots and say make co-host. Don't make me host, make me co-host. That
It says
way.
make host, but I don't see co-host.
Oh no. Okay, well don't do that. 'Cause I don't want to
Yeah.
do that. Um yeah, maybe it's already set up so people can automatically join. I've done these webinars before, and Robert, you said you were doing this yesterday. It was
yeah,
just like they never clicked anything. It just
no, just
automatically.
people just arrived, or or whatever, and yeah, we just shared screen, and it was kind of like yeah, it all sort of happened, I think. So, but again, like maybe I got lucky. So.
Let me I'll just ask Paul real quick because I don't see
Yeah,
any
that's okay.
option to like start it. Uh,
It's good to see some friendly faces over here. I see Kamal and John. Ernesto, I don't think I've met you
Hi.
yet.
No, I've seen
I
you around many shows. I always see you on everywhere, but I don't think we will officially met. Nice to meet. I work with Ian Page at Bullseye.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And Robert, I think I've seen you before. I don't know if we've ever met in person
Yeah,
though.
I keep very well hidden. So so yeah.
so apparently the webinar started, so
Well,
Okay.
everyone,
hey
There you
everybody,
go.
you're used to this.
so
All right.
everyone's on the participants probably like, okay, hopefully they don't say anything they shouldn't. So
Yes.
yeah, okay, I guess we can just jump in. Let's see. So yeah, thanks everyone for being here. My name is Seth. I'm hosting the webinar, and I'm excited to present today with all these speakers. So we're going to talk about beyond PPC, the external traffic strategy that top Amazon sellers use to scale faster and rank higher. And I think most Amazon sellers eventually hit the same realization that there's a ceiling to PPC and selling on Amazon alone. So you can keep increasing ad spend, but if you're not creating real demand signals outside of the marketplace, eventually your margins tighten, rankings become unstable, and growth slows down. So that's really what today is about. This webinar is not about hacks necessarily. It's about understanding how modern e-commerce brands are building sustainable growth by combining external traffic, conversion optimization, AI, omni-channel expansion, and affiliate systems, and a creative strategy into one cohesive growth engine. So over the next hour, you're going to hear from operators, founders, and consultants who have collectively helped generate hundreds of millions in e-commerce sales across Amazon, TikTok Shop, Walmart, Target, and beyond. So whether you're an established brand, agency, or aggregator or scaling seller, my goal today is simple. I want you to walk away with practical strategies you can actually apply to drive stronger rankings, better conversions, omni-channel expansion, and more profitable growth. So with that said, I can jump in to my presentation. I'm going to break down the external traffic strategies top Amazon sellers are using to drive external traffic. And hopefully I can share my screen here. Okay, let me know if you guys can see.
We see
Screen.
secret Amazon launch
Okay,
strategy.
cool. Right. We're on track. All right. So yeah, I'll talk about the secret Amazon launch strategy, how top sellers stay at #1 without burning money on PPC. So today you're going to learn the problem, why PPC is failing so many sellers, and how to diversify traffic and ranking efforts. We're going to break down the math and compare PPC to seeding campaigns and see why seeding is actually more sustainable in many cases. And we're going to go through some case studies, and I'm going to provide a bonus at the end where you can get access to our software. It's valued at $2,000, so stick around, and we'll talk about that at the end. So my name is Seth Hurd. I'm a former third-party seller on Amazon. I built and exited seven-figure brand in 2021, back when multiples were a lot better than they are today. And so I was fortunate enough to exit and roll all the proceeds into my software called Brand Expand and help third-party sellers drive external traffic and ranking signals to their products on Amazon and other marketplaces. I've sold on Amazon, Shopify, Walmart, eBay, Etsy, survived ranking volatility, rising ACoS, buy box wars. You'll see in a second why ACoS is becoming almost unsustainable for many sellers. And we've tested every launch tactic available. We've done over 1 million orders through our technology and built a complex software problem to solve the problem, or platform to solve the problem of driving external traffic to product listings. And so far, we've helped drive 150 million in downstream revenues for primarily brands on Amazon, but other marketplaces as well. So the $68 billion problem, Amazon PPC ad revenue hit 68 billion in 25. So that's up 22% year over year, which is crazy. And that growth comes directly from Amazon seller wallets. And cost per clicks up 42% since 2020. Customer acquisition costs up 53%. And over 50% of sellers report declining profitability. I'm sure many of you can relate to this. I did a survey recently where we looked at a segment of Amazon sellers to understand their profitability over the years. And not surprisingly, it's gone from maybe average of 20% 10 years ago to 15 to 10. And today, I mean, a 5 to 10% profit margin is pretty common, which is not much, breathing room to grow your business. And so, over the years, we've seen cost per click go up, ACoS go from 28 to average of 30%, customer acquisition costs increase, and then average ROAS has gone to about 3.4x in 25. I think it's around 3.3x today, and I'll show you kind of a breakdown of how this looks when we compare it to our platform and what we do with seeding. So PPC captures demand, doesn't create it. So I always say this, we call PPC in many cases rank renting, because it's really a redistribution of demand. You're not really capturing any new demand, right? Everyone bids on the same keywords. Cost per click rise every year. Amazon controls the placement, and you're fighting over the existing traffic that's already in Amazon. And so you're not expanding the market. So really external sales that you're driving there is really an expansion of demand. You're going out and finding customers that you probably wouldn't have otherwise, gotten if you hadn't driven that external traffic. So what Amazon actually rewards: conversion rates, sales velocity, session depth, purchase consistency. They don't reward high impressions or high spend. Not anymore. Maybe back in 2015, that was the case. You could just throw a ton of money at PPC and then, print money, but that's not the case anymore. So PPC spend only matters if it actually produces a sale. So really quick about Brand Expand. So we empower online brands and agencies by leveraging our omni-channel tech platform. And we have an exclusive shopper network to boost traffic, sales, feedback, and search optimization across major platforms like Amazon, Walmart, Target, TikTok, Etsy, and Chewy. We've done, I think, over 28 marketplaces. So any major marketplace in the US, we can drive traffic to and provide feedback on your listings, post-delivery experience, really just gather the overall sentiment of buyers and how they feel about your listing, post-delivery experience, which is super important because they can talk about maybe the contents were spilled in a box or something was broken, and you can get in front of any negative experience by having that feedback sent over to your dashboard on Brand Expand. And we also use AI to summarize all the feedback from all of our buyers into a really actionable insights that you can use. And so far, we've done over 10,000 campaigns. We did a very comprehensive case study. It took us months to put this together, and we saw an average of 8.11x ROAS. And we found that by looking at the beginning sales, ending sales, seeing the increase, and then comparing it to the cost of the campaigns, product cost and fees. We see an 8.11x ROAS, and that's going to be important in a minute. Top 10% had 24x, and average campaign was 2 weeks, 70 to 120 units per launch. This is important because a lot of brands think you need to do really aggressive launches, and that's not the case. Our top 10% generally do about 90 to 110 units to sustain the highest returns. And okay, so really quick, launching and seeding. Seeding has been kind of tossed around a lot, so I want to kind of differentiate the two. We use our platform for both, but launching is really like the typical, go back 10, 15 years. This has been happening, for a very long time, doing product launches. But these are typically new products in honeymoon. The campaign duration is really short. It's usually a high cost, high return type scenario. You get a quick surge. Maybe it's a new product. We generally want to ramp up slowly with a staircase to get sales. Product seeding, on the other hand, is kind of like it sounds, right? You're like planting seeds, but it's not a super expensive campaign. It's not generally a staircase. It's usually pretty linear. And this is over a longer duration, 30, 90 days. Seeding is very similar to PPC in the sense that, for PPC, you don't generally want to drive explosive growth. It's going to be very expensive, right? You generally just want to have sustainable profits, keep hitting on the most important signals, ranking the keywords at the top of the search algorithm, your most relevant keywords, that kind of stuff. And so that's really what brands use our product seeding for. Just to kind of like zoom out, I like to compare what we do to like a lemonade stand, just to make a really simple analogy. So if you sell 1 unit at a steep discount, you attract 8 customers. That's where the 8x ROAS comes in. Bob might repurchase, right? You might get reoccurring sales with subscribe and save. Sally might tell a friend. James brings his brother next time, right? Amazon sees the crowd in front of your store and then sends more buyers your way because you're signaling what's required to get more visibility and organic traffic. So really quick, the numbers. So the average Amazon seller is on the left. Typically, the average seller does about 50% of all of their revenue with PPC and 50% organic at around 30% ACOS. And so the math, you have to generally spend $150K to generate $500K in PPC revenue and $500K organic, which means your tacos comes out to 15%. On the right, when we did our comprehensive case study, 8x was kind of the middle of the normal distribution. The average campaign delivered 8x ROAS. And so even if you're doing 100% ACOS, which on the surface seems like not sustainable, the reality is you only need to do 125K in seed revenue to drive the same million in sales. So the tacos actually comes out to 12.5%, meaning the average campaign we launch is more sustainable than PPC nowadays. That may not have been the case a few years ago, but given how competitive it is, doing seeding and launching to the platform is actually more sustainable in more than half of the cases. Some real numbers. So if you want these case studies we have, they're much more comprehensive. I'm just going to kind of highlight a few brands that we've helped. Grocery brand, we delivered 28x ROAS. It was stuck on page 3. I remember this campaign. We did 33-day campaign, 7 units, 14 units per day, sorry. And we were able to rank all top keywords up 86% all on the top of page 1. A supplement brand, this was a brand in honeymoon, and 122 units promoted over 23 days, went from 14 to 42K in sales on just 4.3K in campaign spend with 44 new reviews. We'll talk about reviews in a second. Beauty brand started at 60K, jumped to 10K BSR after 2 weeks, and we were able to generate 145 new reviews for them. In a wellness brand, 18x ROAS. This was a mature listing, so this was more of a seeding campaign, and we went from 20 to 30K on just 1.7K ad spend with 30 new reviews. So the primary categories we work with, usually consumables, but supplements, beauty, home and kitchen are 50% of all of our campaigns. So if you're in one of those categories, you're in good company. That's who we help the most. And then top categories show consistent 15x to 25x ROAS. I think 80% of our top 10%, if that makes sense, are enterprise clients. So on our enterprise pricing, we really serve more as an agency with the software where serves kind of as a growth extension to your agency or brand. We set up launches for you. We do keyword audits. We review your listing. We help connect you with partners like many people on the call. We work with you very, very closely. So if you have the budget to do an enterprise plan with BrandXpand, there's a huge benefit there. So the last thing I just want to talk about our feature set. So a little bit more about our software. I can't do a full demo because we only have 10 minutes and I'm probably getting pretty short on time. So if you're interested, I'll tell you how to do a demo below. But really, we have a couple things. We have high intent shopper networks. We have hundreds of thousands of highly motivated shoppers that can drive anywhere to any of your listings. Everything's fully autonomous. So we have spent years building this platform. You can literally sign up, import products without SP API integration, start a campaign, push it live with our auto launch approval, and start getting sales in under 10 minutes. And I think that's pretty unique for our platform to be able to get sales that quickly. You could spend weeks trying to drive sales with PPC and just keep burning cash. For us, it's performance-based, so you're only paying when you get a sale. We use AI to summarize buyer feedback. I talked about this earlier. So post-delivery, experience, product listing, all the customers are required to leave feedback internally about your listing, about the post-delivery experience. This is important for not only compliancy, but just to deliver value to the brands on ways that you can improve the customer experience. Review requests, we do these outside Amazon. We don't do them for Amazon. Amazon's a little crazy with reviews, so we try to not do it with Amazon. You will see an increase in reviews just inherently tied to your organic review rate, right? So if you're doing 1,000 units a month, we boost you to 2,000 a month, you're going to double the amount of reviews roughly, right? So, but we do it for any marketplace outside Amazon. We actually do requests, so we see a much higher review rate, and it's very inexpensive. It's actually free on Enterprise. So it's another huge perk on Enterprise is we can do this for free through our software. And then we have UGC coming soon. We're just piloting UGC with our shopper network. And so if you're interested in doing the pilot, let me know. Another big thing is buyer day parting controls. So like we choose how frequently one unique buyer can purchase a product, which I think is super unique. So we restrict certain buyers from purchasing. We can blacklist them if they're not acting in the best interest of brands. You can do this on your dashboard. If a brand's like there's a customer giving you problems, you can blacklist them. And then the last thing is we have advanced reporting. So everything is real time, starting, ending BSR, AI summarized feedback, orders, everything in real time. And we do white label for enterprise clients as well. So we have a lot of agencies that use the tech and they'll white label the performance dashboard with their branding on it, which is just, a massive benefit because it looks like it's like, coming from their platform. So again, 10,000 campaigns, 1 million orders fulfilled, 150 million in downstream revenue boosted for clients. We get a lot of question about competitors. I'm not going to go over all this because I just kind of highlighted all the features, but essentially we're able to lower our rev share, our fees that we charge sellers to, I don't know if any other competitor has this low of rev share. And the reason we've been able to do that is because everything, I would say 95% of the entire process is automated. So the fees are the lowest in the industry. We have a lot of different features around automation. Evergreen campaigns allows you to drive additional traffic at 50% rev share. So you can actually drive fees even lower. And we do keyword tracking, keyword indexing, and a lot of other stuff. So if you're interested, we have on this webinar, we're going to do a 3-month free premium. So this is going to give you access to our premium, 3 months for free. It's usually $695 a month. We're going to do it for free. So it's $2,085 value. Clients typically pay a lot for this. So, it's a great value. We have $495 rev share on premium. Premium is the most popular plan. We have basic, growth, premium, enterprise. So this is our most popular plan. It's got all the features. We're also going to do up to $250 wallet bonus just to get you started, basically get your first sales on BrandXpand, and then also do an onboarding and monthly success calls for you. So you can go ahead and type this link in or scan the QR code. We do have limited slots, so we're only going to allow it for the first 30 signups. This is a huge promotion that our team's going to spend a lot of time and energy making sure that you're set up for success. So if you're interested, click the QR code, click the link, and then you got 90 days to decide if this is right for you. And then that's it. So what you can do is, if you're interested in getting this presentation, just email success@brandexpand.io. You can click all these fancy links here, schedule a discovery call. We have a calculator to which looks at 10,000 campaigns to see what types of returns we can anticipate for your category, and some other resources as well. So reach out to us. We can send you the presentation, all these resources. And that is it. So thanks so much from the Brand Expand team. We're excited to see what we can build together. Okay, cool. So hopefully that gave everyone a clear picture of why external traffic and real buyer demand matters so much in today's environment. But once you understand why external traffic matters, the next question becomes, where should I drive this traffic and why? And that's why I'm super excited to introduce our next speaker, Amy Weiss. I haven't met Amy, I don't think, personally, but I've heard a lot of amazing things about her, and not surprised that her company's called Amazing at Home. So she's helped thousands of e-commerce brands navigate everything from product validation and sourcing to launch strategy and scaling. And what I really appreciate about Amy's perspective is that she understands e-commerce as a full ecosystem, not completely Amazon in isolation. And she's going to break down what channel sellers are actually paying attention to outside of Amazon, and why those channels matter strategically for long-term brand growth. So with that said, I will hand it over to Amy.
Thank you, Seth. Hello, everybody. It's so good to be here. And hello, I see some familiar names in the participants, and just excited to talk about expansion, because I don't know how many of you were in Nashville at Kevin King's last event, but that was the omni-channel strategy thing that we were all talking about. And, we actually recorded a song in Nashville with a recording artist, and the name of the song was Bye Bye Bezos. So the thing is, we all know it. I have a client who's an accountant, and she has studied many, many brands across the spectrum. And she's finding that the brands that are only on Amazon are struggling financially compared to brands that are omni-channel. And profitability overall of the brands that are only on Amazon is really, really stretched. So I know that you guys are feeling that too. And Amazon for us has been such a strong channel for so long, but now the playbook is really changing. And we really need to think about being omni-channel, especially with Amazon not being part of the LLMs, right? The recommendation engine. Amazon has decided to stay out of that and do their own AI thing, which is also very powerful. But we really need to be thinking about what are we doing and how are we growing in this new e-commerce world. So I just wanted to take a few minutes today and talk about that. I will share my screen, and I want to give you guys hopefully some practical tips about moving beyond Amazon, staying on Amazon, and looking at your brand as a whole and how you can grow. All right, sharing is not turned on. So it says that I cannot share my screen here. Maybe, let's see. Seth, can you check in the sharing settings since you're host? It's weird. Usually panelists can share screen, but it says sharing is not turned on. The host isn't allowing sharing for this webinar. So technical difficulties, guys. Just stand by.
For me, if I try, I can't share. So it's not just you, Amy.
Okay, good to know. Yeah. I can get into the share screen settings, but there's a share screen setting that it says allow multiple participants to share. And Seth, you'd have to check that box.
Okay. Yeah, I'm under your name here, and it says...
It's not under the names. It's under the share settings. So if you click on where it says share and you click on share settings, there's it's like a button that says multiple people can share at a time.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Okay.
It works now.
Sweet. Okay, we're back on track. Sorry, everyone.
Okay.
I like to mix it up sometimes, you know.
Yeah, we're just trying to keep things exciting here, you guys. So, I know only the Q&A is open, the chat is not open, but I would love for you guys to tell me in Q&A like how many of you are really thinking about moving beyond Amazon and doing more beyond Amazon. Would love to hear that. So here's my website. I'm Amy Weiss from amazingathome.com, and you guys can come here anytime. I've got a lot of great blog content. And right here on my main page, I have this Ask Amy form. This goes directly to me, and I send you a personalized response. Doesn't cost you anything. If you need help with something, or you have a business challenge, or you have a question after today's webinar, feel free to reach out, and I'd be happy to help. Okay? So let's, and then I'm also going to give you guys these slides afterwards. I'll give you a QR code that gives you the slides and a little blog post about this, breaking all of this down for you. Okay? Because I know it's a lot of information. So we're going to talk about beyond Amazon and beyond Amazon PPC, of course. I'll go to full screen here. I really want to talk to you guys about your strategic omni-channel expansion playbook. So let's go there. So first of all, there's this myth that sometimes is given to us that we should just copy and paste to all the other e-commerce channels, right? I have my Amazon set up, so I should just get on all these other e-commerce channels. But that actually comes with a lot of overhead. Just like you took time to actually grow Amazon. I'm sure when you started on Amazon, you were like, what's going on with my sales? Why is my PPC so expensive? And you learned over time to just really get that nailed down and grow Amazon, right? So the same thing happens on other channels. If you just try to copy and paste, like, oh, just put my listings out there, I'm not going to run any traffic or anything, I'm just not going to do anything or learn the channel, then you're going to have a bunch of overhead expenses and not a lot of ROI. And that can quickly take away the profits that you might have on Amazon. So be careful about just simply copying and pasting. And the golden rule of expansion, what you need to be thinking about is not where should I sell next, but where does my customer shop for products like mine? So I exited my last brand in the end of 2024, but I invented a litter box cleaner. And so my product was unique, right? And I got a lot of sales on Amazon. And so you would think, well, like, wow, I should really invest in Shopify and TikTok and everything else. This wasn't exactly the case. When I did the research, I learned that people like to buy litter boxes and litter box accessories specifically in larger retail channels. They're not going necessarily to individual websites and buying these things. So it was important to me to understand, where does my avatar shop? Where do they expect to find these things? And so I focused on those larger retail channels and in brick and mortar. That really helped me not spend a lot of time and energy off of these e-commerce platforms. And that made up a lot of my sales. Now, if I ran out of stock, people would still buy on my website. You still need to have a website. You still need to have that brand platform. But not everybody is a good fit for growing on a platform like Shopify. And I'll talk about that. Okay. So the key difference on Amazon versus Shopify and TikTok is, on Amazon, you're capturing demand, right? You're hoping that you're getting to page one for your keyword, or you're getting in front of people with PPC shoppers who are already there ready to buy. But on Shopify and TikTok, those platforms are where you're actually creating the demand. So you need to actually drive the traffic. On TikTok, you need creators or your own content to be driving traffic and creating interest, because people don't go to TikTok necessarily to shop. They go there to be entertained. So you are creating the demand, and you need to be ready to invest in that. And then on Shopify, same thing. Even though Shopify is integrated with all of the LLMs now, I have clients that are getting sales from the LLMs on their Shopify. So they're getting ChatGPT sales, stuff like that, DuckDuckGo sales. But you still need to think about the fact that you are going to need to drive some traffic to your Shopify store in order for people to find you and buy from you. Okay? So the first gate is what you need to do is if you're already on Amazon, before you expand everywhere else, before you start investing money and time and resources, expanding everywhere else, you need to maximize what you have on Amazon first. How much, and I see this all the time with my clients, they'll come to me and say, "Oh, Amy, I'm on Walmart, I'm on TikTok. I'm not doing anything on any of those channels." And then we'll take a look at their Amazon and they have so much more juice that can be squeezed. Maybe they're not creating multi-packs. Maybe they could be bundling things. Maybe they could be going after more organic traffic. Maybe their listings. I mean, just with my listing optimizations, I've been able to pull at least 30% more conversions out of some of my clients' listings. So it's really, really important that you squeeze all the juice out of Amazon first, because then you have a reliable profit engine in which to actually, you can build your team. You can, as the owner, as the founder, step out of that business a little bit, let your team keep the engine running, keep the profit coming to you, and then you can start to replicate on other channels. So that's really, really important. First, maximize your primary channel. So if your primary channel is TikTok, before you go expand everywhere else, make sure you're maximizing that channel, okay? So next, your website. Some of my clients who are only Amazon sellers do not even have a website. And if you're wanting to grow a brand outside of Amazon, you need at least at a minimum to have a website. So this is your foundation. This is like your place where you can create more traffic, right? Your place where you can pixel traffic that comes to you, your place where people can find your brand. They don't necessarily have to buy from you there, but you at least need to have that baseline system, right? So the website is really important. And some of you might ask, well, what platform should I be on? I think now more than ever, I used to say, WordPress was okay because it's better for SEO. But now more than ever, I think Shopify is really important. And the reason Shopify is so important is because they are so tied in with all of the LLMs, and they have the Shop Pay network. And this is a this is a sort of shared payment network, shopping network that goes between all of the stores. And customers save their information in there. They get recommendations from other stores. And Shop Pay ads are profitable ROI positive ads that are easy to run and easy to do. So Shopify over WooCommerce right now, I think is just a huge opportunity. And Shopify has email built in for up to 10,000 users. You can build your email funnels, everything like that. And you can integrate your other channels. So you can connect Amazon and multi-channel fulfillment. You can connect your TikTok shop. All of that can be integrated into Shopify, and you can manage all your customers and shipping, logistics, everything from right there. So I think it's more than ever now, it's the most powerful time to be switching to Shopify or to be building out your Shopify. So that being said, before you decide to invest in growing your Shopify, because not every person here, you guys, it costs an average of $40 to $60 to acquire a customer on Shopify. So if you have a $10 product and you don't have any other products to sell somebody, your AOV is way too low to be investing in growing Shopify. So we need to first do a competitive analysis. So this is what I do with a lot of my clients. We look at, should they grow on Shopify? What does this look like, right? So I would suggest you guys take a prompt, put it into AI. I love Manus for this because Manus does a really good job of going out and searching, and they also get the search engine traffic metrics. So Manus AI is really good for this. So basically you tell it, first of all, the context, I sell this product under this brand. Here's my Amazon storefront. Here's my website. Then identify similar brands successfully selling outside of Amazon, specifically Shopify, direct to consumer. 3, traffic engines break down their traffic sources. Where are these brands getting their traffic? What are they doing? How are they making all of these sales? And then analyze their product positioning, force bundles, subscriptions, upsells. So that way, the AI will spit out a report that basically tells you if you have a chance on Shopify and how you should be looking at it. So that's just something I would do before investing further into Shopify is find out other similar brands that are doing well, that are in the same niche, and what are their offerings? And can I compete with that? All right. Then you can decide after you do this, you can decide, do I have enough to grow on Shopify or should it just be my baseline? Like, should it just be out there and it's not something that I'm necessarily investing in right now? Or is this something it's worth investing in for me? I'm going to invest in it because I did this competitive analysis and I really think that I can make it happen, right? So then you decide, right? Do I want to actually invest in Shopify and grow from that side? And you actually have a roadmap now to do it. All right. And then this is what I was talking about before. If you don't have an average order value of $60 or more on Shopify, there's a $40 customer acquisition cost. So how are you going to succeed if you don't have a bundle or a multi-pack? You'll notice some of the most popular brands like Magic Spoons, they're the spoons that you can eat, right? The edible cereal spoons. They're a cheap product. So on their Shopify store, you have to buy at least, I think, 4 packs. So they're making sure that, they're only selling in bulk on their Shopify store, and then you can buy in 1 packs on other e-commerce channels. But you guys really need to think about the cost of acquisition for a customer on Shopify is a lot. So you need to make sure your offers make sense, okay? Also, I have many clients who have invested in meta ads to their Shopify store, and they do not have Shopify set up with dedicated landing pages for those offers. And of course, what's happening is they're just burning money on ads that are not converting. Your Shopify store or whatever website you have needs to be set up with individual landing pages for each of your offers that you're running ads to. You should not be running it to your homepage. That is going to result in you burning a lot of money. You can just pay me that money if you're going to burn it on ads. I'll help you come up with a better path, okay? So that's something to think about is make sure that you're setting up your email flows, everything on your website. If you're investing in ads, before you invest in ads, invest in your framework, okay? All right, next, what do you do, right? Marketplaces that are kind of like Amazon, should you just copy and paste your listing, right? So this is good, right? You can do that, but you should do same thing I told you to do the competitive analysis for Shopify. You can run that same competitive analysis and look where your closest competitors are selling. But you can also utilize Amazon's global marketplace tool. It will tell you what your opportunities are in different marketplaces. But really, think first, do that competitive analysis, understand what your opportunity is in other marketplaces before you invest in them, and also understand what those additional marketplaces take, okay? So, all right, TikTok Shop. Everybody loves TikTok Shop. I'm a TikTok Shop service provider. I have to tell you guys, TikTok seems like the latest hotness, and yes, you should absolutely jump on TikTok, but before you do, I just need to tell you TikTok is not Amazon. Okay, TikTok requires significant investment. As I mentioned before, you got to create that demand. So if you are not ready to set up your own brand and your own content on TikTok, number one, if you are not ready to make sure that your products have reviews and that they look really good on TikTok, that's number two. If you're not ready, number three, to manage affiliates. TikTok, remember, requires you to create demand. So it's not just magic. You don't just appear on TikTok and get sales. You really do need to invest in creator relationships. At Kevin's last event in Nashville, Becca Hadley talked about this, creating a creator sales force. And she said they invested in creators for over 1 year before they ever saw a return. So be ready for that. I have a client who just sent out over 1,000 messages wrong message, unfortunately, only got one response from creators. Your brand needs to be set up properly. You need to know how to talk to creators. And remember, creators are not business owners. They're not organized. You have to maintain those relationships. So if you're not ready for that, if you're not ready for that investment, if you don't want to have a large team, in my agency for TikTok, every brand that we managed had 4 full-time people on it. One for affiliate, one for ads, one for content, and one just for overall seller center optimization. So this is nothing like Amazon. On Amazon, you can get away with one person. It's not the same on TikTok. So just be ready to invest before you move over to TikTok. Do that same competitive analysis. Look at other brands and what they're doing and go from there, right? So your creator sales force, I'm not going to get too much into this because I don't want to take too much time, but I'll give you guys these slides. But it's important that you understand that you need to, invest in building relationships with creators and keeping those relationships, because just sending out the spray and pray method of sending out 1,000 samples is no longer a good method to use. You want creators creating consistent content for you over and over again and building that following for you. Okay. All right. And then retail. This is the last gate. You guys might be considering brick and mortar retail, whether small or big box retail. Make sure that you have everything set up in e-commerce first, right? Like retailers are going to want to see, they want you to drive traffic into their stores, right? So they want to see you on more than just Amazon. They want to see that you've got your inventory under control. They want to see that you have a brand following. They need a reason to put you on the shelf instead of who they already have a relationship with. And that requires that you better, right? So that's just something to think about, okay? So think about this overall, guys. Maximize your Amazon first. Really consider Shopify as your baseline. I can help you with that. You can always reach out to Amazing at Home. We do Shopify redesigns, and we help people grow on Shopify and launch on Shopify. Marketplaces, think about where do your customers shop, what's the easiest copy and paste, and what's the best opportunity for those additional marketplaces. TikTok shop, be ready to invest in that demand. And retail, as I mentioned, set up everything else first, okay? So optimize your core, establish your base, and then follow the data. Don't move blindly, don't throw spaghetti at the wall, and see what sticks. All right, guys, so if you want these slides, you can just scan this QR code. You can also go to bit.ly/AAH for Amazing at Home, Brand Expand. And that will put you in this Google Drive folder where you will have these slides. I also put together a little blog post kind of for you with this, as well as a QR code to join our WhatsApp community. So join us there or visit me over at Amazing at Home if you have a follow-up question. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy. Appreciate that. Yeah, I remember when I used to sell, like back in 2015, to get on Shopify, it was like you had to pay somebody thousands of dollars to build out your store, and spend, a whole weekend just to figure everything out. But nowadays, I came across an app called Emboras, I think it's called. It's like a Y Combinator startup. And they use AI to build your entire store and then optimize it. It's like a whole AI native.
How do you spell that?
It's AMBORAS.com. And I was telling my wife, because she sells on Etsy and Shopify, and I'm like, man, you could just plug this AI thing in, and it will go and optimize your sales and build landing pages and like figure out, do A/B testing and all this crazy stuff. So
oh, that's cool. I have not heard of that one. But I know Shopify is still like, Lovable has a vibe code version where you can help it set up your Shopify store, and Shopify has its own AI, but I've found both of those inferior and very hard to use. So that's why we do it this way. But still, that's really cool. I will check that out for sure.
Yeah, we've been using Claude Code because I used to use Base 44 and Lovable, but Claude Code is just exceptional. We're able to like take our front end, and then our team can kind of prompt it to change certain things. But so anyways, like in today's day and age, there's no reason why you shouldn't have a Shopify store, especially you can do multi-channel fulfillment. You don't even have to set up a different 3PL outside of Amazon, right? So
yeah.
But yeah, the cost per acquisition for customers can be high. So really, like Amy said, the LTV, you really want to drive up the lifetime value and bundle things so that you maximize your margins. But yeah, one of the big channels is TikTok that's getting a lot of attention. And I think most sellers still don't fully understand how to use it without lighting cash on fire or by, managing different affiliates. It could be very challenging, like Amy was saying. So that's why I'm excited to bring on MrPrime. By the way, this guy has the best name for owning any Amazon agency. I think MrPrime is, it's like, I don't know what else you'd be doing. So anyways, I'm going to introduce him. Robert's helped brands generate massive growth across Amazon, understands how TikTok Shop can actually create a halo effect that strengthens overall Amazon brand performance rather than cannibalizing it. So I'm going to pass it over to Robert. Go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. So, yeah, I run MrPrime.com, which is an Amazon agency at the core. And then we've become a TikTok Shop agency partner in the last 2 years ago, actually, when I saw that it was going to be something that was pretty vital to, to all around growth. And my background is I sold 2 Amazon businesses in the past. They were back when it was easy. I would say it was easy back then. Like, it's, and I've seen how it's changed. And yeah, and basically I wouldn't want to start personally another Amazon brand without having, external traffic, a rounded e-commerce business. I can't actually see with all the clients that we've got a feasible way that I would personally want to actually ever start a brand without having that. And that's why this is such a good webinar. And I was going to just talk about TikTok, and I will talk about TikTok because that's why I'm here, but we have specialists in-house that know probably more about TikTok than I do. But I just wanted to also talk a bit, which might be useful, about the Shopify side of it. So the last business I sold was actually a Shopify business selling standing desks. And I think I completely agree with what Amy was saying about the average order value. Like the average order value for that particular business was actually around $900. And that meant that it opened up another thing. So if anybody's on here with a high average order value product, Shopify is an amazing place for it. And there is I think it's Go Affiliate Pro or something like that, which is a plug-in to Shopify where you can pretty much plug in an affiliate program into it with one click straight away. That's what I did. And from that, I then went, and because the average order value was high, I went and looked at the best of guides for standing desk. So for example, for standing desk best of guide, and I found the top owners from them, and I contacted them on the website and said, okay, you've got an Amazon referral link, so here's what about linking to us, we'll pay you 10%, which is $100. So they were obviously very happy to do that. In the first month we did 100,000 in affiliate revenue with that strategy, and once we got the first one, we were able to then go on to others and say, well, look, this company, they're earning like $10,000 a month. So what I'm trying to say is Shopify is amazing for high average order value products. Create an affiliate program, in my opinion, when you do have that, it's very easy to reach out to people now, reach out to the best of guides. I was even reaching out to people that had the SEO potential to put a guide in, to get them to do a guide about standing desks, to then position things there. So it's a very deep structure on that. For TikTok, we got started with that because we had a client that was doing about $5,000 a day with a new launch, and they just put it on Amazon, and they didn't know why, and we didn't know why, to be honest with you, because and it was on Amazon, and we went off and looked. I said it's got to be external traffic. We looked, and it was TikTok in the US, and it was people searching for a product on TikTok, and basically a few videos had blown up where someone was going into shops and sort of picking out the last one off a shelf. It was actually for a magazine, and they were saying, and there wasn't a link. There was no link because it was just literally someone going in on a shelf saying this last product, got it. And then all the comments of thousands of comments was people saying, where do I get it? Where do I get it? Which store was it in? Et cetera, et cetera. Eventually, they obviously found their way to Amazon and they were buying it. And that was the halo effect the first time I saw it. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. That's without even actually promoting a product with a link, etc. So that's, it's very, very powerful when done correctly. There are lots of ways to do it. There are ways that you can do it, from sending, TikTok traffic into your Amazon listings with Spark ads and getting a brand referral bonus and, getting 10% back. And they're a little more technical, so I'm not really going to go into that. But for the purposes of this, I'm going to share some slides, just basic slides on the kind of thing, how this works, and the kind of things that maybe not to do, I guess, because that's one of the things that tends to come up. So let me just share my screen. Do you see my screen? Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully you can see that. Perfect. So basically here, so obviously TikTok Shop, it says it's the most powerful external traffic source Amazon's ever seen. I kind of probably agree with that, but it's obviously not for everything. So obviously, I think more products than you would think are going to be a fit there. So no matter how boring, whether it be, some form of, boring garden, everything, has most things have a place there, except for probably, frankly, standing desk, which I probably wouldn't have sold there personally. But most things do have a place there. So it's a case of, there's tools like FastMOS that we use and other tools that will go and look at, the actual volume that is being done already. So you can go and find out the volume before you engage in it. Just some stats on TikTok, which, again, I'm sure you kind of don't need to tell you how big TikTok is, but it's a discovery platform, again, as Amy said, and therefore, it's basically, it has a halo effect that isn't often seen and often measured. And the one I mentioned, when there wasn't actually even a link anywhere that you could track that, we had to make the assumption, and that was the only assumption that you could make, that it had come from there. So nowadays, yes, you can track with attribution links, you can track it with other ways, but it is a demand. It is a place to get demand, as well as obviously sales in TikTok Shop. But there is an ultimate halo effect, even into bricks and mortar stores, and that is something that we've also managed to engineer as well. But certainly to Amazon, it's the very, very, very big crossover. So as we said, discovery first, it's impulse and entertainment led. You have to basically find, rather than create content, we as an agency go out and find basically creators in that space that are engaging, that have a certain engagement rate. So this was a head shift really, in terms of, you're not looking for the person with like 5 million followers who you have to pay a fortune to. You actually just want the person that has an engaged audience, that that shows good engagement metrics, in terms of, and again, these are all in data like FastPOS, which is a sort of like similar to Helium 10 in the Amazon world. You can see all those things. You can pick those creators. The big thing not to do is to spray and pray with with samples and just send them out. Think, oh well, my samples only cost me $2, so I'm going to send out 500. It just doesn't work. You're better off with a much more condensed, creators that that are going to post videos, creators that have engagement, creators that that the content fits your brand as well. I've seen like one company we work with, they basically were saying like their brand had been sent out to like, just I won't go into details, I could be cancelled before I've even got famous, but it's basically, they were like people that were just not a fit for the brand whatsoever, were like opening these products, and it was just like kind of horrific. So you don't want to coach them into what to do, but you do want them to be authentic and have the style that you want. So pick your creators wisely. You don't need hundreds, in my opinion. You just need the right ones, and they will definitely vary. And engagement is a big signal. How often they post is a big signal. So we find those for you basically, but you can find them yourself with tools like FastMOS and so forth. After that, this is the things that we found for brands that we work with. The spillover revenue is, for every dollar generated on TikTok Shop, we tend to see it, and there's about 50 to 60 cents on Amazon by the way that we do things. TikTok Shop has the strongest halo effect of what we see, up to 80% higher. And basically the search correlation, it basically shows that when we do videos that work on TikTok, we get a big halo effect that comes straight across on Amazon, basically. In terms of ways to link with TikTok Shop, there's obviously buy with Prime integrated into TikTok ads. It gets a little tricky. I won't go into too much detail on this. There's Amazon MCF, which is basically the feeds that fit in between Amazon and TikTok. Was one of the things we get asked is, well, I don't want to set up another method of, I don't want to send into TikTok Shop directly. So there are feeds that basically link in between yourself, your Amazon account, FBA, and your TikTok Shop account, and that simplifies the process to go on and test it. And then obviously you've got attribution tags, which is a bit more complicated, but that's when you start running Spark ads into it, and then you can get percentage back. But that might become a little bit complicated for the purposes of this talk. But basically, again, you do need to have an optimized store. It's not just a case of using a software that puts your products from Amazon straight onto TikTok. It doesn't really work. You have to go in and optimize them specifically, do all the specific things, and you have to be very, very on top of all of that before you launch, much the same as you would with Amazon. So basically, this is how the flywheel works on TikTok. So it's viral discovery. A TikTok creator posts an authentic, high engagement video featuring your product, and authentic being the operative word. Ads don't really work like, in terms of like, product ads. It has to be almost a subtle sell. The algorithm pushes it. A meaningful share of viewers, do bypass the TikTok link, open Amazon and search for you. This does help your flywheel effect on Amazon. It doesn't give you a brand referral bonus of the 10% that we were talking about, but it does help that. Or they buy in the TikTok shop themselves, so they basically go looking. The high intent conversion, because they've searched specifically for you, conversion rates are very high on Amazon. Amazon's ranking algorithm does reward this. It elevates your organic rank. And then basically Amazon, if you have the Spark ads going to it and you're using it like that, Amazon pays you a 10% brand referral bonus on those sales as well. And that's, again, another setup. But effectively, it starts with good, authentic creators, creating a number of videos, and that's where the discovery element of it completely starts. So the micro seeding, don't pay 10K for macro influencers. I think I personally have seen people waste fortunes doing that and getting very, very limited results. Views don't necessarily equal engagement, don't equal sales. We get the best results from people that frankly have like under 5,000 followers a lot of the time. And then basically authenticity does drive the algorithm. Spark ads on the winners. When you have a video format that works, then you run Spark ads on it, and you can set your commission for the creator that you work with as a default one, or you can create an ads commission where you pay them on ads that you run in it. So don't just run ads on everything is my advice. Run ads on the quality ones that have engagement, the videos that work, basically, that your creators make. That's when you run ads, and that's what amplifies it. Otherwise, again, you just burn a lot of money on non-converting things if you're just trying to spread ads around. And then live shopping events. Really, honestly, the more lives I believe you can do, the better. Q&As, flash codes, urgency, another important add-on to that. And you want someone, again, that can actually sell with ads. With the lives, that's more important, having someone that's very, that effectively is a good salesperson as well as authentic. So those would be, the three main things that I would suggest. This is like, do put in, some disclosure in things around paid partnerships and so forth. This is more for like, when you're running the Amazon, ads outfit back to the brand referral ads, and then obviously take care of the platform rules, because, around AI content, etc. And anything that you do around that is all changing very quickly. So, just make sure that whoever you work with, or whichever agency you work with, is very on top of that, because we have seen, companies getting banned and, and more for things that around that, and it's changing very quickly. So this is, if you wanted to go for the brand referral bonus, this is on Amazon, register for it. If you don't have that already and you're doing external traffic in any form, whether it's Shopify, Google Ads, whatever it is, go and set up the brand referral bonus. Go and set up a channel for the specific place that you're sending your ads to, whether it be Shopify, you have a tag for that and links for that, whether it be TikTok, whether it be something else. And then use those links when you're pushing traffic from those back into your Amazon account, if that is your goal, because that is how you trigger the brand referral bonus, with the Amazon attribution. And that also is how you know how your ads are doing on Amazon, how your external traffic is doing on Amazon. Without that, you're kind of flying blind. So do set up whichever external traffic you do. If it's the goal is to funnel it into Amazon, if that's your goal, set up brand referral, 100%. Seed the micro creators. They're very easy to find. As I say, fast, smart, look for high engagement in your niche. If you look at winning products in your niche as well, you can reverse engineer their creators that are doing well. Again, it's all out there. Get the content done, and then advertise on the good content and measure the halo effect, basically. TikTok is a great place. It's not fit for everybody. It's worth a try. You don't have to try it with all of your products, but when done properly, I consider it to be considerably more powerful than frankly than Amazon right now. If I'm being completely honest with you, when this works, it works in a massive way. That was the overall talk. If you basically want to get a free audit on your TikTok shop, and how that works with Amazon or anything else, then scan the QR code and it will be Willow that speaks to you, who is the TikTok shop expert, can handle all the technical side of it, how the attributions work and everything else. And I will work on the strategy side, how it's all kind of pieces together. But yeah, do look at TikTok shop, regardless of if you think your niche is boring, because it may surprise you. And thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Robert. I know we're a little bit behind, but stick around. We got a couple more speakers, presenters that have great things to share. So One thing interesting that Robert mentioned is, being careful with AI content. I think there was a time where, a lot of brands were motivated to create AI content, specifically around UGC and creators, right? Because it's so easy and you can do, perfect image or video. But the FTC and all of these different governmental bodies are like starting to crack down pretty hard on this. So be really careful and really mindful that you really do want to generate natural content from real creators. Otherwise, you're going to have to start. I think Instagram already started doing this, but you have to tag, synthetically created or something. You have to have some of that disclosure in there if it is AI. So super important to pay attention to. The next speaker. So, you can drive all the traffic to your listings, but if you don't have good images, it's not going to convert. So that brings us to our next session with Kamaljit. Hopefully I said that correctly. Kamaljit specializes in helping brands create high converting images, videos, and listing creatives using AI and data-driven design principles. His work is focused on making products look like bestsellers before they actually become one. So Kamaljit, excited to hear your thoughts. I will pass it to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Seth. Excited to be here, and good to see so many familiar, names in in the attendees list. And let's get started. So, Seth, if I'm running, more than time limit, just let me know. So I'm going to start sharing my screen, and we're going to dive right into it. So today's topic is mainly going to be about, traffic on Amazon. So I know there are great speakers talking about traffic externally. So in this presentation, we're going to focus on CTR, how you can double or even triple your traffic, on Amazon using AI. So let's take a look. So for example, I'm going to take this listing as an example. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to copy the ASIN. So this is the agent that I'm using. I'll come back to it at the end of the video. I'm gonna hit generate. So our goal would be how to make better main images and get high click through it using AI. So it's already doing the research, but I'm going to get back to my presentation and then we'll come back to it in a second. So let's start presenting over here. So in less than 5 or maybe 10 minutes, I'm going to show you how you can double your traffic by using simple tweaks in your listing without spending extra money on ads, without driving external traffic, or without doing any complicated ranking strategies. If you don't know me, in last 7 years, I've scaled more than 2,000 listings to 7 figures. My name is Kamal. I'm the CEO and founder of AMZ One Step. I acquired a company called Kenji ROI, which is also an Amazon creative agency. I have generated over 300,000, more than 300,000 Amazon images. I'm not talking about white background images. I'm talking about an actual infographics and lifestyle images, which move the needle. And also a member of Forbes Agency Council. I've spoken at many Amazon international conferences. I've been selling on Amazon for over 8 years now. And yeah, so my passion is Amazon creatives. What I did recently, I took all that knowledge from those experiments and years of running agencies. I put that into a software. It's called listingoptimization.ai, which can generate high converting images for you in minutes. So what I did recently, Pickfu and Product Union came up with their MCPs. So what I did, I asked Claude, I think it was 400 plus split tests and 16,000 comments. I asked you to analyze, and these 2 insights for CTR, they were really cool. And I was super impressed. So if you run A/B test today, there's an 80% chance that your new image is going to outperform your current main image, because that's the most important thing for increasing traffic on Amazon. And the difference between an average main image and a great main image is about 2 to 5x the CTR. And how do you increase it? How do you increase the CTR? If you don't know what CTR is, it's the percentage of shoppers that view your product on search pages and that click onto your listing, right? So the step number 1 is you create multiple main images which break the pattern in the search results, which looks interesting, which passes the 2-second rule, which break the pattern. Those are the kind of images that you want to generate. And how do you generate those images? Step number 1 is you start with multiple main images. It could be whatever your agency thinks, whatever your competitors are doing, what you think may look good. So get all those ideas into the visual format first. Take a look at this example. So maybe in one image, the powder stands out. Maybe the bottle shape looks different in another one. Maybe the sample looks, better. So you combine all those winning, elements, and you create a final version. So I picked the label from a different image. I picked a hang tank from another one. I picked, a powder from another one. So you pick those elements, create a final version, and then you create 3 different variations of this, of the winning element. So now you take these 3 images and you go to Pickfu or Product Pinion, and then you split test them. See which image is a winning image, and you take that winning image and then go to Seller Central. And there's one step when you're generating your main images. I highly recommend that you should do is SERP simulation testing. So what you do, you can combine. We used to do on Canva. I'll show you how you can do this. With AI, like all the images that you've generated, put them in the SERP simulation and see which image stands out. Right, the image which stands out, then that actually goes to Amazon Seller Central, and you do the A/B testing, and then you get the results like this one. Just the main image alone in 21 days increased the sale by 23%, and that was $26,000 additional revenue. We follow the exact same process. So here's another example. So build a SERP simulation, see which image stands out. Maybe this one blends in. This one maybe stands out. This one also blends in, which gives the black packaging. This was completely blends in. Nobody's going to click on that. So when you do the SERP simulation, you will find out which image stands out. And then here's the result. 3 weeks, $12,000 extra revenue, and 61.5% sales increase just by changing the main image. So SERP simulation is highly important for you guys. So when you do this process, this is the quality that you get, which looks different. It's going to stand out from this, from the competitors. And we see this over and over again when we do this testing. Your sales go up. In the best case scenario, you will see this. This is the number I absolutely like when I do manager experiment. Like, what is the best case and what is the most likely case that how much your sales are going to go up. I'm going to talk about minor changes that you should be doing in your main images. Like for example, the product packaging. You can tweak your product packaging a little bit. That works every single time. Over here, 114% sessions went up. Sales went up by 91%. Additional revenue, $2,300. By adding a small label with the right keyword, in 2 weeks, sales went up, 11.5% and $6,700 additional revenue. The glow, in the background, on those images, you can put behind the product, $1,000 extra revenue, 5% extra sales, fixing your labels. So these are all the strategies that you can use to make your main image stand out. For secondary images, same thing. You should be doing this split testing every single time. If there's no one is doing in your team, that means you're leaving so much money on the table because you're spending thousands of dollars on advertising, right? Over here, here's another example. 51% sales went up just by changing the main image. Sometimes we can do like manager experiments, but there's like manual experiments we run. You can take a look at the data here. Here's another example. In 1 month, $2,000 extra sales, 69% sales went up. So these are all the concepts generated using AI. I'll show you how. Here's like a before and after for the image tech. 99% probability that almost never happens. Like sales went up 34%, $5,600 additional revenue. Here's another main image. Only change was made a slight text on the product packaging, and then we added some text on the other side, and it just AI will very easily pick this up, and sales went up by 16.5%. That's like another image tag. Here's another, even if you don't have a gift box, you can always add a gift box with some main keyword or main unique selling proposition. Just by changing the main image, 12.7% sales went up. The example that I have already shown you already. So what, in 4 weeks, if you add a product packaging, add the keyword, 5.6% sales went up. It's showing like how many variations they come with it. So these are all the strategies that you can use to get your main image stand out. So what I did, I've been doing this for over 8 years. I've run like thousands and thousands of experiments. What I did, I took all those frameworks, workflows, learnings from those winning experiments, and learnings from those polls, the human feedback. I put that into a SaaS platform, where AI, you give the ASIN, and the AI will give you the high converting images like in minutes. So it's called listingoptimization.ai, and we're going to do a live image generation. So for example, this is the listing that we're going to generate main images for. I mean, this image looks good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly Amazon compliant image. But what happens to your compliant images? Some of you are already thinking, Kamal, Amazon, is going to suppress my listing, or is it, can I even upload? So a lot of sellers, they never take the risk. Let me show you a quick example, like why you should be, why you should not be worried about that one. Take a look over here. Should have pulled that. So take a look at this. So these are 3 different main images. So always start with the simple image, which is basic Amazon compliant, and have a little bit, one in the gray area, one, maybe a little bit risky, which can give you highest competitive advantage. So you're probably thinking, Kamal, most sellers, they're over here because they're not taking risk. They're not pushing the boundaries. But this is where you get exponential boost in your CTR. So if you're thinking it's, Amazon going to suppress my listing, Amazon doesn't allow it, take a look at the bestseller in the supplement space. They're already using this strategy. So if your images are only Amazon compliant, you will lose big time. Take a look at this PickFu poll, and I want you to see the loser, not the winner. So this is a losing image, and it's the only image which is perfectly Amazon compliant. So I just want to break the belief here, because Amazon has different rules in different categories. I've seen lifestyle images as main images. So if you're playing by the Amazon rules only, it's good for some categories, but for most of the categories, you're going to leave money on the table. So that's exactly what is happening with this listing. They have a great great Amazon compliant main image, but they need to do a little bit extra to get the main image up, right? So AI is already generating those images. They remember the campaign that I started. It has analyzed all those, like this is the Rufus Lexa shopping optimization. So it has analyzed all the reviews, the competitor reviews, find the top pain points, who exactly is buying this product, like customer pain points, customer decision-making factors, customer motivations, like everything is over here. So you get the full market intelligence with one single click, and you will see like the real reviews, like it's not making anything up. You'll see your images, you'll see competitor images it analyzed, like you can see and export those reviews. So these images are built from the real data. Remember the search simulation I was talking about? You can do that search simulation testing over here. So let's go back and take a look at the main images. Okay, so they're still being generated, but they should be ready anytime in about next few seconds. So let me show you how search simulation works. So I go to search simulation. Images which is going to generate, you can upload those images here. So they're not generated right now, but once they are, you can see if your main image stands out or not. You can
Got about 1 more
shuffle
minute. Just want to keep moving things forward.
Sounds good. So you can shuffle those competitors around and see those images. Take a look. My A+ content is ready, like, and it looks beautiful. And let's take a look at the secondary images that are coming up. My secondary image stack is also ready. These are my main images. And if I wanted to, I have done this work, ahead of the time as well. I generated all of these images in about, 10 minutes. If it's a 2-pack, different, all those winning frameworks I showed you, like, glow in the background over here, one with the product packaging, a different angle, all of those frameworks are over here. And this is how you can generate high converting main images in about, minutes, do search simulation and stuff. So the software is listingoptimization.ai. And if you're not focusing high enough on CTR, now is your time.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I've seen Kamaljit AI. I've seen your software across a couple different networks. So it's super interesting. A lot of positive things people are saying about it. And obviously, like nowadays with AI, there's so much you could do. You could literally create, the near perfect image. And so I think a software like that's extremely valuable for sure. Talking about AI, so we're kind of entering this new era with Alexa. And so our next speaker, John Tilley, has kind of been focusing on this area. I really respect John and what he's built with ZonGuru. He's been a real pioneer and visionary leader for a long time now. And he spent years analyzing how Amazon's AI interprets listings and why so many listings that sound great to humans are practically invisible to the algorithm. So he's going to talk about why listing engineering is becoming the new conversion layer as external traffic, Alexa, and AI-driven discovery continues to evolve. So, John, I will pass it to you.
What's up, man? Yeah, it was really cool listening to everyone here. One thing I'll say up front is brand expand is if you guys are selling on Amazon, brand expand is a game changer if you use that product. So there's so many things we can try, but that's a good one to try. So go ahead and do it. We use it internally with some of our managed service clients as well, and it works incredibly well, right? So yeah, go right. What Kamal was covering there was like it's super interesting. I think the other aspect I want to add to that, right, is as we move more into this conversational search experience where you're getting recommendations, literally, customers are making the decision on a product or a recommendation before they've even seen the main image, and then they're clicking through onto a PDP. So there's this whole other journey that's happening where people aren't even seeing the main image and they're landing on the PDP. And they have a really good understanding of that actual product before even reading the listing, right? So to Kamal's point, the whole image narrative that you tell people buy with their eyes, what are they seeing in that image narrative, is becoming even more important than it was before, because they're just landing on the PDP to like validate their expectation and the recommendation that's been given to them by Alexa for shopping, and then they're converting, right? So they're probably looking at your image stack, probably your EBC, and maybe obviously your price and your reviews, right? So it's really critical to understand that like the image stack and outside of just the main image is really important. And obviously Kamal software is covering that as well, which is super cool. I'm going to share my screen here and then we can go over it. And yeah, I'll do a timer here as well just to keep it on point. All right. You see my screen?
Yeah, you're good, John.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Seth covered, one of the key areas we focused on is this around this phrase that we've coined, which is called structured listing and engineering for AI, right? Specifically for Amazon. I want to relate it obviously to the topic today, which is around external traffic. The unpopular opinion I have here is like every external click now brings two shoppers to your listing, the human and the agent reading over their shoulder. And you're only optimizing for one, the human, right? And I think this is, I would say I don't 100% agree with this in that this is, overall the critical factor of today's shopping world, but it is becoming increasingly more important, in external traffic and this idea of agent to agent even, right? So, as this world evolves, there are absolutely going to be personalized agents that are going to be going out, clicking on your external traffic leads, getting to Amazon to do the purchase, and then assessing that for fit before even purchasing it, right? So that's one aspect that you have to think about a lot, and that's not just what you read from a human conversion perspective, but there's certainly the structured listing engineering, the technical aspects that need to be there, and the signaling to make sure that it validates and it purchases, right? So that's something you have to be aware of more and more. And I guess the easiest way to frame that is like, there's two things you're optimizing for, right? And you can use AI in the best way possible. One is human conversion, connection and conversion. Absolutely, you can improve that through AI. Kamal's covered that. We have tools that do that from a positioning exercise, etc. And then the other one is AI readability, right? And that absolutely needs a technical aspect that's structured there for traffic that's landing on Amazon. And clearly, if you use Amazon's agent Alexa for shopping, that is absolutely critical. Yeah, so this is kind of evolving from that point. Is like there's two reads, right? The human side of it, image, price, star rating, the bullet points, right? And I think it's really interesting because we have a tool that we built called Helix. I will talk about it a little bit later, but one of the things that we've really thought about is like, hey, we can structure technically listings, but can we use AI to do a better job of helping to position a product, understand what customers want, what's unique about your product, and then how to connect those two better in a way that makes you stand out from your competitors, right? A positioning exercise. And AI is really good at helping you to formulate what that is, so that when you write your content, you're highlighting through your image narrative, but through your content, the most important stuff that they are looking for to make sure that it attracts their attention and they converts, right? So that's really important from the human side. The other part is the agent side, right? And the technical structuring of it. And so if you can make sure that you get recommended through conversational search, Alexa for shopping, and even through keywords, right? If the expectation and the recommendation is made through these long tail decision-making factors in the conversation, and the agent is recommending you in the most relevant way, when you're landing on that PDP, it's literally just a validation and then converting. So the agent side is much more critical. And we're seeing it today, even with Alexa for shopping, that the whole buyer journey is changing, right? It's already happening. I can even show you. Well, I'll show you in a second. But the journey of, hey, I do a keyword search, or even a conversation, and I see the full search results page, and then I click on listings, and then I click around, and then I click back, and I do all that. That's changing, and it's going to be changing much more dramatically over the next while. So you're seeing AI summaries, conversational search, Alexa for shopping conversations popping up just off a keyword, right? So how you get recommended before. And so it might recommend 3. So instead of you having a full search results page, you're now getting 3 recommendations. How do you compete with that? You have to be first and recommended first. And this is the opportunity you have to take on right now. One of the things that, Alexa for shopping, or which is driven by Cosmo, is one of the key things, right? What are the things they're looking for around that structure to recommend you? There's really 4 areas. One is semantic coverage. This is like literally, it's around buyer behavior, and Cosmo trying to answer the questions like how is your product used, what's it for, etc. There's a technical structure that you have to your listing, and if you don't check off all of those pieces, you're not sending strong enough signals to get recommended, right? So that's the first one. Q&A coverage. This is obviously really important. And this absolutely you need to structure in the way that you write your content on your listing, right? And how you answer the most important questions. What are the most important questions? That is a tricky area, right? And there's a lot of reverse engineering that we have to do around that to make sure that we can surface the most common questions around research and buyer decision making, and then answer that in your content, right? That's critical. And AI is very, it's not surface level. There's a lot of deep engineering that has to go into that to really understand across your category what are the most important questions based on reviews, categories, attributes, everything that goes into listings, right? Back-end eligibility, it reads that for sure. That's all your attributes, everything else that you have there. And then the newest one is actually this audience fit signals, right? And this is like Amazon Alexa for shopping announced this, right? Which is the About Me section and the profile that you have on your Amazon listing. And now you can actually choose different profiles. If I go into mine, I can choose my profile, my family profile, my work profile, and all of those have different interests. And that as a signal around Alexa for shopping's recommendations is critical, right? So, and it's becoming more and more important. So that's one you have to be really aware of. And what that means for you as a seller, you have to understand your ICP of like, who are you really selling to in a deep way, right? And make sure you answer, you send the right signals in the best way possible. This is also critical for, we used to do this we do it today through media, right? Media purchase, PPC, you're trying to find your right target audience and put your ad in front of them. Now you can do this through this function, right? Because it's going to recommend you based on how you fit to that buyer's needs, right? That specific customized profile, right? So it's a really critical one that I think is overlooked a lot, and you need to do that. If you want to check your score and see how you're optimized, you can use our readiness reports. I'll jump over and show you guys what that looks like. It's free. You can just jump on and use it. And there's a lot that goes into obviously how we reverse engineer the fit, as I just kind of covered. So this is the place to start. Is like, hey, check on my listings, see, how do I score, and then do that across your portfolio, and then decide which ones you want to optimize first, and then you will see, with the optimization and improvements in your sales. But that's not driven by, importantly, what Kamal covered was like, hey, your conversion rate. That's really critical. But outside of that, it's sessions and it's niche rank, right? And you need to make sure that you're really improving that. Can you still see my screen? Yeah, cool. Okay, I've got a couple of minutes here. So I just ran one on this camping chair. I ran camping chair. This is the product I ran it on, which was this, however you say this name, One Tigress. It came up very top in the recommendation over here in your normal search results page. When I looked at some of the aspects of this product that isn't being signaled in the right way, I had a conversation with Alexa for shopping and just said like, hey, give me, what is your top recommended chairs for that are lightweight, that you can sit for long extensions in when you're fishing or whatever it is, that is steady on unstable ground. These are like really common questions that people want answers for, specifically around this category and product niche. This product was not recommended, and the reason it wasn't recommended is in its scoring, it failed in a lot of ways, right? So this is a top, listing on typical organic search, but in terms of how it's signaling to Alexa for shopping, it needs some work, right? And this will tell you where the gaps are. When I see a score like this is the mapping, and this is the Rufus Q&A. It's showing me that like they've taken a pretty keyword intense, listing, and they've optimized it slightly, but they're still missing some of the technical signaling, right? You can see it right here. The used for function, the target audience, like the breadth of target audience. This is so critical for longer tail conversations that you're having in Alexa for shopping that they're all missing, right? So, and then some of the main questions here, which is, does it fit in a backpack? Does it fit on stable ground? This is a lot of the reverse engineering that goes in around deep understanding of the category and the most common questions, again, for like when you're just researching, which is becoming bigger and bigger on Amazon, and then the intent-based buying ones, which is buyer decision-making. What are those questions, right? If you answer these 100%, it's going to match you to a lot more Rufus Q&A or buyer Q&A questions as well. It'll tell you how to fix everything here as well. So you guys will see specifically how you can fix it. And again, you can fix it yourself, or you can use our Helix product, which that's my time. I'll end in a second. Which will help you, right? So again, this is the most important thing, is that if you're not you have a great listing, it even could be a well-written listing, but if you're not technically signaling in the right way or answering the most common questions, you're not going to appear for those longer tail searches. And those conversational searches, as I said, is not just a little button in the corner on Amazon anymore. You can type in food sensitivity test into your mobile app, and you will see Alexa for shopping is going to pop up straight away. You're not even seeing the search results page. You can type in, to your main, search results bar, where you have a predictive, keyword search. It's going to start popping up with Alexa in that, right? So like they are starting to integrate the whole Alexa for shopping more and more. So if you're not signaling, you're missing out on a lot of traffic. You can use our Helix product. You'll see that once you start using the Cosmo readiness report. Check your scoring, and then you can jump into our products and literally use AI in the best way possible for human connection conversion, and then for signaling, and it will help you to structure those listings. You can get in and give that a try. And we're seeing incredible results with that, right? Agencies and brands using it for improving sessions, as well as conversion rates, sales, and being first, right? If you're on top of this, you are going to win. I want to show you, sorry, because I didn't share it, but let me just share this real quick. This is where you can get the free report. So if you go to you can obviously scan that as a QR code, but if you go to zonguru.link/ /Cosmo RS. That will get you in, and you can get some free usage of it. And basically, once you load it, it looks like this. And you just go, hey, one product, add your ASIN, generate the report in a minute. You'll get that. You can PDF download that. You can even take that report and then drop that into Claude and say, hey, tell me what is like the top thing that I need to do on my listing. I want to do one thing. That's a really cool way to test and see if you're signaling better, what happens to your overall score. It's pretty cool. So yeah, check that out. It's really critical that you try it right now and make sure that you're sending the strong signals. And right now, yeah, Amazon is choosing to own its conversational search, and it's doing it because it's seeing like 60% better conversion rates through Alexa for shopping conversations. It's making more money, higher average cart values, all of those kind of things. But there's going to come a day for sure where there's more of an integration with other LLMs. And if your content is structured in the right way for Amazon, it's no secret. It's the same as for other LLMs and everything else that's out there, right? So you're literally future-proofing yourself to make sure that you appear in better GEO searches outside of Amazon as well. So, make sure that your listing is structured as best as possible.
Yeah, 100%. And if you haven't checked out the Rufus, the AI readiness report that they offer at ZonGuru, it's really cool. We've checked it out with a couple listings using Brand Expand, and it's really phenomenal. And they do it for free, so check it out for sure. I think what's interesting is like, in the past it was always optimizing for A9, the algorithm, right? And so you're kind of like keyword stuffing and all that. But nowadays it's like the future is going to be us saying, hey, Alexa, buy me a camping chair that has a nice armrest and like good back support. You know what I mean? Like you don't necessarily search for what you say. And so getting all that customer feedback, getting those questions and hitting on all those different areas is super important. And I think that report that you guys create kind of shows all those opportunities. And yeah, like John mentioned, I mean, that's going to be the future of shopping, is just you have your, AI agents that know you really well personally. And then, you ask for something and then it throws that into the MCP on one of these marketplaces. And then you have to be indexing and ranking for all of those, different customer questions or inquiries, which normally you wouldn't do that. You would just say, what are my most relevant keywords? Let's make sure they're in our listing. But again,
we don't skip on the A9 side. Like, there is still absolutely an importance around keyword seeding, right? But the Cosmo is intelligent enough right now to semantically match you to all of the keywords out there because they're going to make more money, Amazon, right? So it's a pretty cool place to be with listings that you don't have to stuff them full of keywords, which is cool. And by the way, like, I don't shop on Amazon right now. If there's a slight thought in my head of like, I don't even know exactly what I want to buy, I want to research and maybe look at some competitor or some alternative products. I use Alexa for shopping all the time because it's so much faster and it's so much more pleasant, and it's going to answer my questions about what I want to buy rather than go through and look at search results and look at images and click. It's like super inefficient. So if you haven't tried it, everyone should try it. It's way better.
Yeah. It's crazy what's happening, man. Like I saw a presentation the other day. It was like Google is like the yellow pages were back in 2001 because nobody's using Google anymore to do these these searches. You know what I mean? Like you used to use Google to compare products and see, different marketplaces, what they were offering. But now it's like, man, you might use Gemini, but for the most part, you're using these AI search engines, which is now Alexa. Alexa's basically Rufus now. So anyways, let's close it out. I'm going to pass it over to Ernesto. Ernesto specializes in helping e-commerce brands scale on TikTok Shop through proper affiliate and creator partnerships. So this is a huge opportunity that Amy talked about, and they help Bullseye Seller helps with this. So I'm going to pass it over to him. He'll explain why so many brands choose the wrong affiliates and how to identify creators that actually drive profitable sales. So Ernesto, take us home.
All right. Thank you, Seth. Thank you. So we still have about 20, 25, 26 people here. Thank you. I believe I'm the last speaker, the last guest speaker today. I'll make it quick. I'll go straight to the point. So first, I'd like to share my screen here. All right. Can you see my slides?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, good. All right. So Seth, you said at the beginning that you want to be omnipresent and drive traffic from any channel possible. TikTok is one of the best. I personally think it's the best way to drive external traffic to Amazon, D2C, all your other marketplaces. Amy said that she also said TikTok is amazing, but it's expensive. And yes, it is very expensive. If you want to do it right, from the sampling to the heavy ad spend, it can get very, very expensive. If you have the money and the budget, it's definitely worth it. Amy also said one of her brands messaged 1,000 affiliates and they got one response. This happens. This happens. And that's why we created this webinar about why 90% of brands pick the wrong affiliates, because these affiliates, they're getting 500 messages a day from different brands, throwing them products, free products, and they just get overwhelmed and very little response. So you have and now let's say they do respond to you. Now you need to have an affiliate manager, you need to have an ads manager, content strategist, and a manager. So it's a lot of work, but if you have the team, definitely worth it. So let's get started. So I'm Ernesto. I'm a partner at Bullseye Sellers. We started with Amazon management 8 years ago. Now we do D2C, and we started with TikTok Shop 2.5 years ago. We manage 165 brands, which half of those are on TikTok Shop. The other half are Meta, Google, and D2C. So it's all about them. This webinar we're going to talk about affiliates, and these affiliates, right now it's an affiliate market. It's not a brand market. Again, because they're getting bombarded with everyone needing their attention, needing their content. So you need to know how to work these affiliates, and that's what we're going to talk about. First, some stats. 94% of purchases on TikTok Shop happen through an influencer. Influencer, creator, affiliate, same thing. Different terms, same thing. TikTok has been growing 40% year over year. In 2025, it was 15 billion. 2026 is projected $21 billion, growing very rapidly. All right, so why are brands struggling with TikTok? These are the three main reasons why they struggle. So no proof of conversion, meaning affiliates won't post and they won't reach their health score. We actually, because we've been to some affiliate network parties, and we found out a few months ago that if big affiliates work with newer brands that don't convert well because it's a new product, low reviews, low sales, it actually affects the affiliate's health score. So they don't want to work with new brands. Number two, no affiliate momentum or demand signal. So the way TikTok Shop works is once you start getting sales momentum and you break $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in sales, it will push your content out. At the beginning, it's very hard to get started because there is no sales momentum. And number three, economics don't excite affiliates, so they know that a new brand is not likely to go viral, so they rather work with brands that are selling higher GMV. All right, so the disconnect. Here's the barrier. Good affiliates don't want to work with new brands. It hurts their health score. TikTok algorithm does not push. Good affiliates want shops that spend aggressively on ads. Obviously, a new brand is not going to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on ads because it will break the bank. And the reality is that new TikTok shops shouldn't focus on L4 to L6 affiliates. And I'm going to go over a slide what the different levels of affiliates are. So you should not work with bigger, or at least spend time and effort and energy reaching out to these bigger affiliates. If they come to you, by all means, send them a free product immediately, right? But don't spend time and money reaching out to them. Also, the top affiliates, they have high upfront fees, impossible to get their attention, and you're basically managing divas. These are the different affiliates. Level 0, 0 in sales. Level 1, up to $1,000. Level 2, 1,000 to 5,000, so on and so forth. The level 8, which is called a diamond affiliate, L8, they're doing $1.5 million plus in monthly sales. There's only a handful of these in the world. You want to start with L1, L2, and L3 affiliates. And here's why. So when you start with the underdogs, we call them the underdogs, you get a higher reply rate. If you send 1,000 messages, you might get 50 replies as opposed to 1 reply. Better engagement. They're excited. They want to make money. They love getting the attention from the brand owners. They accept guidance, so they appreciate being discovered. We send them guidance. You talk to them. You give them product briefs, so on and so forth. And if you get them to sell $5,000, they will stay with you forever, with your brand forever. And that means that they will create dozens, if not hundreds of videos of your product. So how to win with the underdogs? You hold them by the hand, you give them creative direction, praise their wins. Every time there is a video that gets over 10,000 views, I know that's not huge, but for them it's a big deal, or it generates a minimum of $500, you make a big deal. You invite them to a private group and you praise them publicly. You go for volume. So here is where it can get expensive. You need to do two to 400 samples every single month, which it can get expensive between product cost and shipping. And then you need to spend aggressively on ads at the beginning. The first 3 to 4 months, we do a 1 to a 1.5 ROI. At the beginning, you're not making money. You're just trying to push the sales up to get to $50,000 under any circumstances. Because once you get to $50,000, that's when the magic starts happening. We use Yuka. There's a few different softwares that you can use for affiliate outreach, but we like to use Yuka. That's pretty much it. So if you want to book a call, talk more about it, you can scan this, meet with us, and we'll be more than happy to talk to you. But I want to say that, and I believe Amy was talking about this, if you want to save money, you have to do the content yourself. And you have to be picky on which affiliates you sell samples to. If you want to grow fast, you send out 200 to 400 samples every single month. And sometimes we see it that at month number 3, a video goes viral and sells boom. Sometimes it takes 6 months. But once a video goes viral, the big top affiliates start coming to you, requesting a sample, creating videos. And we've seen it. We have a case study. We had a greeting card company. In December, they sold $10,000. They started with us in September. December, they were at $10,000. January, they broke $500,000. One video went viral, and it just attracted a ton of affiliates. And last month, we did $1 million, as a matter of fact. So there you have it.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Ernesto. I think it's interesting. I've heard from a lot of like TikTok shop agencies that it's those lower level influencers that you really need to hone in on, because you can kind of get in early and grow with them, and like you said, celebrate their wins and just get a lot more traction and kind of see them on the rise, you know what I mean, if you find the right fit. Versus trying to reach out to Kardashian, who's doing 1.5 million a month, which
and here's the thing, we've tried it all. The first 6 months we made every single mistake in the book. We tried reaching out to 100 affiliates, good affiliates. We pay them $250 per video, so we spent $25,000 on 100 videos, no guaranteed sales. We made $3,000 in sales, spent $25,000, made $3,000. We much rather grab that $25,000 and use it in sample 1,000 creators.
Sure. Yeah, 100%. I think quantity over quality at that point is super important, because you're paying so much money up front. It's the returns most of the time don't justify the cost with those huge influencers, and even if you're able to work with them, like you said, if your product doesn't have a lot of social proof or notoriety, like they're not going to work with you because it's going to lower their conversions for their account. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so check out Ernesto, Bullseye Seller. Appreciate the presentation. We're definitely over time here, so for the 23 participants that stuck around, appreciate you. If you have any questions, go ahead and reach out to these individuals. I think we're going to follow up. We'll share this presentation with all the participants, and yeah, check out all these different solutions if you're interested in really driving external traffic and demand, not across just Amazon, but all these other marketplaces. And we'll be happy to help you out. So thanks so much, everyone. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Seth.
You bet, man. Later.